Thanks for tuning in. You're watching the NHL Flash presented by Bardown Hockey. I'm Tyson Geik. Things have changed in the NHL, big time. The average age of NHL players has dropped substantially, and so has the average career span of players. After the lockout in 04-05, the rules were changed to make NHL hockey faster, which meant even tougher training and even better athletes. This is probably the reason that we're no longer seeing players make an impact in their NHL careers into their late 30s and early 40s, unless they're absolute freaks of nature.
Waiting, pulls Anderson out, oh, Jaromir Jagr!
On this episode of the NHL Flash, we take a look at once superstars who are fading fast and making us ask the question,
What the f*** happened?
Hey!
They need you right now. When they don't, they'll cast you out. Like a leper.
So how about Dustin Brown, the captain of the LA Kings? Just 30 years old, but in his last 202 games, he's got just 83 points. Or maybe Martin Havlat, just 33 years old, he's been more fragile in his NHL career than my iPhone, and he's got 14 points in 40 games with the New Jersey Devils this season. Maybe Brad Richards, 34 years old with the Chicago Blackhawks, a two-time 90-point scorer, and this season he's not even going to hit the 20-goal mark. No, we're going to take a look at three players that all have something in common. They have all represented Canada at one point or another. Number one, Vincent Lecavalier. Looking back on Vinny Lecavalier's career, one would think that this monstrous centerman would be a dominant force in the NHL until he decided to retire. After all, he was selected first overall in the 1998 NHL entry draft, and then owner Art Williams Jr. claimed that Vincent Lecavalier would be the Michael Jordan of hockey. Yeah, he was good, but not quite Art. Now, I'm not knocking Vincent Lecavalier's career at all. Lecavalier has 13 20-plus goal seasons, 5 30-plus goal seasons, 1 52-goal season, 1 World Cup of Hockey title, 1 Rocket Richard Trophy, and 1 Stanley Cup. And he was also a part of that awful Team Canada squad back in 2006. Back in 2008 with the Tampa Bay Lightning, Lecavalier signed an 11-year, $85 million contract extension with the team. Overrated. In 2013, the Lightning would buy out Lecavalier for $32.67 million after the shortened NHL season, when Lecavalier put up just 10 goals in just about 40 games played. I wish I could get that much money for underachieving. Lecavalier would then go on to sign a $22.5 million deal with the Philadelphia Flyers that summer. Now it's funny, Lecavalier is a minus 141 over his NHL career, only having been a plus player twice. This season, Lecavalier has 19 points in 53 games played and was a healthy scratch for the first time in his career on December 2nd, 2014. At the age of 34, Vinny Lecavalier is on the back nine of his career, without a doubt. Some would argue that he's still a decent utility player with the Flyers. But at the same time, how can you justify paying a guy $4.5 million a year to do what he does? And he's taking away from the development time of players like Scotty Laughton. I'm sure Lecavalier will be able to look back on his NHL career and be proud of what he's done, but I don't think many people could say that they would be seeing a player like this fade out at the age of just 34. Alright, how about Dany Heatley? Where on earth did he disappear to? He's done. His career's toast. What? Mr. 50 goals in 05, 06, and 06, 07 isn't even in the NHL anymore? At the age of 34? I just don't understand.
I need a second, okay? Why can't anybody give me a goddamn second?
Heatley, the number 2 pick in the 2000 NHL entry draft, was a superstar in the NHL. Remember back to 2003 when he scored 4 goals in the NHL All-Star game?
Dany Heatley gets a big hand. That's 5 goals, no matter how you count it.
Or when he was a part of the Team Canada 2010 gold medal winning team that was just incredible. Heatley was a strong NHLer for years, right up until about the lockout shortened NHL season. That's about when things started to trail off for the winger. In the summer of 2014, Heatley was signed as a free agent by the Anaheim Ducks for $1 million. He went on to play just 6 games with the Ducks before being placed on waivers. Dany Heatley cleared waivers. Who would have guessed that one day Dany Heatley would go down to the AHL and clear waivers?
Now you're just somebody that I used to know.
Heatley has since been traded to the Florida Panthers, but still remains in the minors. In 38 AHL games, Heatley's got just 15 points.
Yes, I think that would be Heatley sucks.
All right, moving on to Mike Richards. Richards is a player who's in a bit of a tough position. I think this is a player who's got something left in the tank in his NHL career. His contract is arguably what's keeping him out of the NHL. But Mike, come on, man.
Say something, I'm giving up on you.
Richards was signed to a massive 12-year deal worth $69 million back in 2007-2008 by the Philadelphia Flyers. He's got a cap hit of $5.75 million a season right now. Party Boy Richards was a stellar two-way center for the Flyers, taking the team to a Stanley Cup final in 2009-2010, where he had 23 points in 23 playoff games, and he drew comparisons to Flyers legend Bobby Clarke. Just 2 seasons later, Richards was traded to the LA Kings, where his team success peaked, but his personal success was on the decline. Richards will have not cleared the 20-goal plateau in 4 seasons, and this year he was placed on waivers, where he cleared waivers and was sent down to the AHL, and he had just 3 goals and 11 assists in 16 games. Richards is competing for ice time against guys like Kopitar, Carter, Stoll, which is no easy feat. And while the Kings try to stay below the NHL salary cap, things get a little bit difficult, and you can understand why he might have been placed on waivers. But still, 5 years ago, there's no way that anyone could have seen this coming. Like Heatley, Richards was a part of that 2010 Olympic gold medal winning team in Vancouver. While Richards might be able to make an impact somewhere around the NHL, it's hard to believe that this 30-year-old will be able to turn things around and return to his superstar status in the league. Now, this is all extremely interesting. One of these players was pegged to be the Michael Jordan of hockey, the next, the new face of the NHL, and the other was all over Bauer hockey ads everywhere. And now, they're almost nowhere to be found, which begs the question, who's next? Which other NHL superstars are going to fade? Sidney Crosby? John Tavares? Steven Stamkos? Patrick Kane? If the style of play in the NHL keeps changing, I guess only time will tell. Thanks for watching this episode of the NHL Flash. Until next time, I'm Tyson Geik. So let's take a look and profile some of the teams that have a shot at the first overall pick, and we all know who that's going to be.
Connor McDavid.
Connor McDavid.
Yeah, it's Connor McDavid.